This is the Raider Cop Nation podcast with your host Alpha Mike and our roster of co-hosts. We patrol America's law enforcement beat. We invite you today on a ride along. Now, here's your weekly briefing on Raider Cop Nation. Welcome to episode number 73 on Raider Cop Nation. What is this topic that we have going on? Concealed carry. Who, what, where, when, why, and of course, how. Today, part 4 of the 6-part series, we're going to discuss the when. When do you carry? Primarily, we're going to be discussing mindset. What is the mindset to be a concealed carrier? Now, before we get to that, and we jump into that with last episode in 72, we talked about the Raider Cop Comics proudly presents the correctional superhero Delta Delta. And we are moving along on some of that programming, coming up with some topics and so forth. So our schedules are going to be a little bit changing in the near future after probably March or April. We'll keep you updated, but we will not forget the forgotten profession on Raider Cop Nation. Now, if you have any question and you're thinking about how in the world do I get in contact with those guys, well, you can start by going to RaiderCopNation.com. And of course, when you get to the front of that page, you scroll all the way down, and those funny icons pop up out of nowhere. And once they pop up, you will see the Twitter, Facebook, and all that other great stuff that's on there too. And that's how to contact us. So, of course, you can also email us at RaiderCopNation@gmail.com and discuss with us whatever topic you would like to see, because we're always looking for the perfect mentorship program. We are also in the works with the Test Everything. No, we haven't forgotten. As the enemy's always working, trying to kick you in the shins, make sure you can't get your programming out. And we are going through some hiccups with let's say the studio. But we are programming, we are moving along, we are getting it done. So fear not, it will get done. And the Test Everything programs, I'm starting to outline them. And we have an array of those that are going to come out. And we'll make an announcement in the near future real soon with date, the amount of time, and how you can pick up the Test Everything. If you're new to Raider Cop Nation, what in the world am I talking about when I say Test Everything? Well, that's a program about your walk or your journey with the Lord. And we train up in so many things in law enforcement, with the gun, with defensive tactics, with our physical fitness, but we kind of forget that we have to also be ready spiritually on, before, and after duty. It's no way around it. God is either with you or he's not. And that's and he leaves up to you. It's called self-will. So Test Everything is a program that helps you go through your spiritual journey. And we will be doing episodes about 30 minutes long, but twice a month. And they will be coming out real soon. If you go to the Raider Cop Nation website and you go to the section that says, yep, you guessed it, Test Everything, there you can see the 5-minute shows that we did. Small little 5-minute shows. They are kind of deleting themselves out, but we have 61 in total. And so I encourage you to take that 5-minute journey. It'll lift you up. It'll encourage you. It'll allow you to encourage others in your daily walk with God. Raider Cop Nation, we are hitting the main subject. And as you know, this is a 6-part series So we did not take this lightly. We did not just give you one broadcast and basically just, well, this is about concealed carry. Look at the laws and rules and regulations of your home state. That's all. No, we didn't do that. We are encouraging you to look at what your states basically say. But this is more about a generic mindset that you have to have in order to be a concealed carrier. Today, we are specifically going to look at the when. The topic is concealed carry: who, what, where, when, why, and how. So, let's do it. Let's hit the when. Before we can answer when I should carry concealed, the main question that needs to be asked is, why should I carry concealed? Now, that question means different things to different people. Some people have a specific when they should carry, and that's basic all the time. Some people have a more defined when they should carry. Some people have, what am I going to carry for specific days or specific events? So the first question that we have to ask before we can really dive into the when is why. So when is going to be answered with the question of why are you carrying in the first place? Of course, it's easy to say, well, for the protection of myself and my family. So the question now is, what will you do to defend them? Are you ready? Do you have the mindset to take that weapon out of the holster, engage, and shoot? Or will there be a hesitation? Because if there's a hesitation, you might be a statistic. So those are the questions you have to ask yourself. Why in the when? Why am I carrying? Because that's going to help you define the when. Am I carrying because I love it as a sport? I like to shoot. Do I carry it because it makes me feel good? Or do I carry it because that was my former or current career choice, and I know that the gun comes with the career? Do I carry because I do fear, but I don't know when to carry? I don't understand, or it's too much of a hassle. These things can only be answered by you, the listener, not us giving you those magical wand answers. The bottom line is, I carry even when I cut my grass, but that's me. This thing's been on my hip for 30 years now. I've had a weapon on me. It becomes a part of my body. I remember consistently as a routine when I leave the house and when I come back. Now, you might have the question, well, Alpha, have you ever left the house without a gun? And the answer would be, of course. For a variety of reasons. One of the biggest one is I forgot. But it won't be long if you're an active concealed carrier. As you start your car, your truck up, and you proceed down the road, that you immediately go for the position of the weapon because it's force of habit, and you notice, oh, I forgot. So you can recover this mistake quickly by doing an immediate U-turn and going back to retrieving it, or saying, what the hell, I'm just going down to the corner store. Now, when you get to the corner store, if something happens, don't blame nobody because you choose to go without the gun. So, whatever. You made the call. So the call always lies with you. But one thing that you're going to need in the when, and I encourage everybody to do this, and we are going to place some of these on our show notes. In the times that we live in today, you're going to need some type of insurance policy. Why? Because if you take your gun out and pull that trigger, you most likely will end up in some type of legal aspect, whether it's a criminal investigation or a civil investigation leading into a lawsuit. Somebody's going to try to get money out of you. So the only way to overcome it is to have some type of protection, because you can lose it all. Car, home, everything, trying to defend yourself because you were protecting yourself or others from a knucklehead. Shoot, the knucklehead might even try to sue you. That's how sick and warped our society's become. So you have to have something in your side. Now, the NRA, they feature a nice package, and we're going to have an episode on these specifically. But to talk about it just in general terms, the NRA, they provide a legal protection for the carrier. And another company is Legal Shield. They also protect carriers, concealed carriers. And the third, and probably I would say the one I favor the most, is the USCCA. And their packages, you can go to their websites and kind of study it on your own, where you're going to get more bang for your buck and who has a proven record. But I'm not here to sell you insurance or a rug. I'm here to sell you on self-preservation by knowing that you need to have something in your arsenal other than bullets to defend yourself, and that's a good concealed carry insurance. The statistics are out there. Remember, we've talked many, many times here on Radio Cop Nation about the lawyer go get ya, the lawyer sue ya, the lawyer. And they will, I mean, you could have a perfect shooting. The maniac is drawn. You're on national television. Everybody in the world sees you. Great exit out of your holster. Great positioning. Bang, bang, guy's dead. There was ability, opportunity, intent. The world saw it. You're cleared. You become a hero. You'll get sued. You'll get sued the next day for some lawyer. Why? Because that's the name of the game. That's how they do things. So you don't want to be that statistic. You don't want to be that individual that is, looking for pennies, coins, and nickels to survive because you have huge legal bills. You want to be that individual that knows that that's a part of your arsenal. Train, and train some more. Yes, I agree with that. You can train at home without firing one bullet, making your weapon safe, clear, empty, and learning how to take that weapon out of the holster, positioning it to your eye. You can train at the range by shooting at targets. You can train in movement. You can train in all kinds of facets with firearms. But the biggest thing that you need to train on is your legal insurance and how to gain your composure. One of the aspects I want to discuss today is this scenario that I'm going to come up with now is pretty much better said than done. But when we look at the when, and I really don't want to mess it up for the how, because I got a whole bunch of information on the how. Over the top, I'll say you need to carry in the same format as you always do. Don't be looking pretty, changing the weapon from one side to the other side to I carry it here, I carry it there. Because the day that something goes down, you're not going to know where you're looking. You're going to forget. So And if anybody's a concealed carrier, they know when you're carrying, sometimes you literally have to feel yourself to make sure you still have it, because it is lightweight and sometimes you can't feel it. So playing hide and go seek with your gun on your body is not a good idea. That's all. But you want to have that type of mindset. And then you want to also look at the facts of a shooting. It has to be the imminent threat towards you or somebody else. In other words, that person has the ability to carry out a physical, serious injury or death to you or someone else. You can't go on, I thought, I think. It's not going to work. You've got to be certain. And once it's certain, there can be no hesitation. So that mindset has to be the warrior mindset to survive. That you're going to get through that firefight, if there is one. So you're carrying a weapon right now. If something bad goes down, most likely the bad guy doesn't even know you're carrying. You have to make a conscious decision to reach for that weapon and draw it and engage the threat. Or you can just act like you don't have one and let the chips fall where they may. So when we look at the when, we need to answer the why. Why are you carrying, and are you faithful to that commitment that you've made to yourself? If you're not, then you're not really a concealed carrier. You're a seasonal carrier. You're the guy that, around the water hole, you want to say, hey, pull up your shirt and go, look, see? That's right. I'm a carrier. That's all. You're not really into, like, let's say, the profession may, as in law enforcement, carrying a weapon would behoove you. It'd make your life a lot easier if you're carrying. So they're having a weapon on your side. And like I said, I carried for every year that I was employed in that capacity and now after. And I can tell you that the weapon has been engaged on me for 30 years. And I carried in the same position and I practiced the same things. It is so important for me to have a mindset. When will I engage and how will I do it? Yeah, I'm that kind of guy that I can go to a public place and immediately start looking at things in the surroundings for me to seek cover or concealment. That's right. That's called the carry concealed nut. That's who that is. And I'm one of them. Proudly raise my hand. And I know that our superhero guests are not far behind me either. So the mindset is I'm ready to engage, and I'm always looking at the scenario of my surroundings in my situational awareness. I know what I have to do and how to do it, and I'm ready to do it. But getting back to the original point of the insurance, that gives you the confidence to do it. Look, nobody likes to get into a problem. Nobody wants to get held over with a bunch of questions and becoming the celebrity on the nightly news. But there's a reason why you have that gun on you and concealed. For some reason, you placed it on your body. And if it is to save yourself or others, you need to be ready, because if you're not mentally ready, you will become that statistic. Now, if we look at other aspects of the when, of course, when can I carry? Okay, where can I carry is a part of that. Where am I exactly going will answer the when. So you've been selected to go to federal jury duty. Well, that when might not be the best place. You have an immense amount of rights to carry, but it doesn't mean you can carry everywhere. And one of the sticky points is schools right now. I think it's idiotic that legal carrying concealed permit holders or people that their state does not require them to have a permit that they're being restricted in going into a school. Well, that's easy targeting for the bad guy if they want to do something there. But that's another show and that's another moment. I would prefer the legal carry to be everywhere. I don't even see a restriction. Another restriction is going into a police station, for real. Everybody there and their mother's armed. There's some things about how they're restricting that carry which is concerning. If you have never demonstrated anything but being a loyal citizen and you are a legal concealed carrier, I believe that you should be allowed a lot more latitude than what they are given in carrying. Now, if you were to violate something, you need to be punished. Maybe your license needs to be revoked from you for a little while. Put you on a little timeout, that's all. For you to sit there and think about it. But I don't believe in this one brush that paints everything, that you don't need to go with that gun to this place or that place or the other place. We talked in our last concealed carry with Mike Sierra when I went once to Disney World, and we used to wear fanny packs back then in the early 90s. The security guard at Disney kind of looked and said, "Well, what do you got? What do you got in the fanny pack?" And he thought, I guess he thought I was going to say my wallet or something like that. I told him my gun, and his eyeballs almost came out of his head. But I said, fear not, because it comes with credentials. And I presented them. They were very nice and cordial, as I said in the last episode. And they took me to their security office over at Disney, and I locked it up and signed in my own weapon. And there was a bunch of other signatures from law enforcement officers that were at the park that day. No foul, no harm. Another story is going to the airport. I remember walking. If you don't remember ever seeing this, you are, I'm afraid to say it, a millennial. But I remember going to the airport, no security points, and going all the way to the terminal to include where the plane is right there, almost at the tarmac, right by the door. And you didn't have a problem in the world. And guess what we were allowed to wear off duty? At the terminal, next to the plane. Yes, folks, it was the gun. Now, you got to identify yourself. You got to be put out in the time-out room. You got to sign in your weapon. You got to hear this big story about airport security. Like you're a knucklehead for coming to the airport with a gun. These things need to be changed. They need to be tweaked. Our government needs to catch up to reality. Now, there's two types of concealed carry holders. That is the citizen. The other one is the law enforcement officer that's retired. That person now is no longer a sworn official, or they're not obligated by that sworn capacity that they took. They have a retired card of law enforcement in their wallet. They're highly trained with that weapon. And sometimes retired guys have a problem trying to figure out what world are they in. Am I a civilian or I'm not? And some of them don't have concealed carries. They go with their department ID. If you're out there listening, I encourage you need to be going with both, because sometimes your ID can only take you so far, and to go the rest of the distance, you might need a concealed carry permit from your state to carry you the rest of the way. So we live in times that are nutty. Good people are bad, bad people are good. And what you think is an easy scenario can turn into a real problem in the future. So the when, we are talking about concealed carry, and we're talking about episode number 4 of 6. We're talking about the when on the concealed carry: who, what, where, when, why, and how. Though the when is an individual choice, as we said, that you, the listener, have to come up with. Do you think, I remember having this conversation at work once and with firearms instructors, and the question was asked, who here goes to church armed? Well, some hands went up, some hands didn't go up. Some people were blushing. Some people didn't want to answer the question. They wanted to drink coffee all of a sudden. And it became a great debate, a very respectful one. I'm a firm believer that God, He's in control. I'm in His hands, regardless of the fact. But do I have to carry a gun, or is the angel that's guarding everybody falling asleep? Now, I've gone to church. I've had incidences that I've seen in church. I've dealt with them, but never to the point that I've had to take out a gun. But we live in bad times that the Bible calls birth pains. Good is evil and evil is good. I don't know. But I will tell you this. I carry. Not that I don't believe that the angel's not paying attention. Not that I don't believe that God is not faithful to protect. No, I carry because God may use me to help. That's all I could say. You've been listening to Concealed Carry, Who, What, Where, When, Why, and How, Part 4 of the 6-part series airing February 6th. Our last part of this series, let's just go to the next one, February 13th. We go into the why. February 20th, you will hear our last show. It's going to be a lengthy one, most likely over an hour, and we're going to talk about the how. Of course, we're going to have Kilo Sierra and Mike Sierra, and by the way, they're not related. They will be here, and they were going to discuss with us that part on the how. Then we jump into our February programming, February 27th, with Kilo Sierra on episode number 76, New Jersey, Disarming and Confusing America on Firearms. Very confusing over there. Am I allowed to carry? I'm not allowed to carry. But I'm a cop. But when you go home, you're not taking the gun. You're going to leave the gun at the office. No, you can take it. No, you can take it. No, you can't take it. Man, you might. Okay, no bullets. That's what's going on in the world, in the wacky left world of New Jersey. And then we start on March 6th. We're going to do the Bring Back the Warrior. We're going to have the cop and the supernatural superhero. It doesn't get any bigger than this. Wonder Woman. Of course, I got to start my electric signaling and all that, the lightning rod. I got to start doing it now so we can get her on there before March 6th. That's a big, big, big thing, believe me. So there's a lot going on. Our episodes, they run all the way to January 8th. We've added January 8th, 2020, episode 121, Shot Timer. Should I be training with a timing device? Shot timer. So we always got good parts to talk about guns, and more guns. So we encourage you to listen. We are not alone. We have our brother a podcast, which is America's Few. And, of course, Mike Sierra runs that operation over there. We encourage you to stay connected to them as well on America's Few. On our show notes, we always have a link to them, and you can go ahead and connect with them and listen to some of that interesting programming that they're going to be coming up with in the near future. So don't forget, America's Few. We encourage you to listen and listen attentively to what they got going on over there. Lastly, we've had a lot of positive response with people looking forward for our correctional superhero, Delta, that's going to be coming on. We are going to start probably our first show and talking about correctional training because that's an area of expertise for Delta, and I want him to feel comfortable. So that's coming on probably in March, so keep an eye out for that. And I know that the forgotten profession will not be forgotten here. Well, folks, it is always my pleasure to come out here and your host. Continue to support, continue to listen, continue to pray. Continue to pray for the agency that serves you. It's very important. And always know that the Raider Cop Nation stands by, eagerly awaiting to serve you. This is Alpha Mike. I've been your host on Raider Cop Nation, signing out. Don't forget, pray for yourself. Very important. Pray for your family. Very important. Also pray for the law enforcement agency that serves you. Very important. And pray for your country that needs you, the United States of America. God bless.
Guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home.
Somewhere level with the hard.
4323, just 1322.
The Raider Cop Nation.